Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason, just right outside the birthplace and house of Aretha Franklin. She was born in that building in 1942, and unfortunately to this day, there's been an ongoing preservation efforts campaign going on to save the house, but I'll explain more about that. But first I'm going to read the marker to you and tell all about the Queen of Soul. Here we go. Alright, so I'm on Lucy Street in Memphis, Tennessee. And yeah, definitely, unfortunately, I hate to say it, not really a well-kept neighborhood like that building next door. It looks like it used to be a church, but I could be wrong about that. But I have confirmed, yes, this is an abandoned building. I don't know if anybody lives here, but it's all boarded up. And of course, I'm not going to go past that fence. But the marker says this. Aretha Franklin was born... Here, I'm going to go on the other side and read it. Okay, so Aretha Franklin was born in this house on March 25th, 1942. To Baptist Bishop, C.L. and Barbara Franklin. Miss Franklin is, well, at the time she was still alive, but she was an American singer, songwriter, and musician. She began her career as a child singing gospel at her father's church, New Salem Baptist, located not far from here on Latham Street. At the age of 18, Miss Franklin embarked on a secular career. She would leave Memphis and go on to become one of America's greatest singers. Memphis, Tennessee loves and honors our hometown singer, the Queen of Soul, Miss Aretha Franklin. Sign was erected by the city of Memphis, and looks like some people had wrote graffiti on there like R.I.P. or Rest in Peace Queen, we will always love you. We love you, Aretha, from blankety blank. And it even looks like people have written stuff on these wooden panels, like, of course, her signature song, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, Respect Yourself. Well, that was done by Stable Singers, and Bruce Willis. But it looks like a lot of people have left their mark here, and I guess I should have brought my Sharpie with me, but what was I thinking? But like I said, though, the house sits abandoned and is more of a blight than an asset to her old neighborhood, I'm sorry to say. That's just not my words. That is actually from Atlas Obscura, and I'm sure there's some great people who live on the street and all around. But it's not like people don't really want to come see it. It is said that the house is infested with shutterbugs. I don't know that for sure. Now, the city of Memphis had flirted with the idea of moving the actual house to a better place and fixing it up, but nothing has unfortunately came about. Those plans kind of went nowhere. And there were even talks about turning it into a museum, but money is just a determining factor there, and yeah, unfortunately stuff like that costs money, and the city didn't really think too much about it. Maybe they think there's already enough tourist attractions for music lovers, who knows. There is a rock and soul museum here, and even though Aretha didn't record for the Staxer Sun labels, it would make sense to move him near there, would there? I don't know. I'm just asking. Or fly to Cleveland, ship to Cleveland in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Which, by the way, she was the first woman inducted, enshrined into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. And of course, rightfully so. Now, Aretha herself, when she was still alive, didn't think too much of her birthplace. Apparently, the last time she was here in person was in 1995. That's nearly 30 years ago. And I'm not sure what her thoughts were and what the house was like then. But, if there was, I don't even know if there was somebody living here at the time. Now, of course, Aretha is more identified with Detroit, where she started her music career, from the time where she paid her dues and all. But it was 2 years old when her family moved to the Motor City. But the Queen of Soul passed away on August 18th, 2018. And fans, of course, like I showed you, did come and leave items and memorial offerings and condolences. And I'd like to know, what is your favorite Aretha song? I got plenty. Respect was voted #1 by Rolling Stone magazine not even a few years ago, and that was by the way written by Otis Redding. There's also Think, There's Natural Woman, a Carole King pen tune. Or if you want to fast forward, I like Call Me. That's one of my favorites. Kind of a gospel R&B song from 1970. Until You Come Back to Me. And then if you want to jump into the 80s, jump to it, that is, pun intended, to the Freeway of Love. I mean, there's no way, there's no words that can explain her mark on rock and roll and popular music. I mean, she's collaborated with so many artists, she's won so many awards. She was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom, a Kennedy Center honor. I'm sure she's got lots of Grammys under her belt, and I remember when she performed at President Obama's first, what do you call it, swearing in. You know what I'm talking about, in 2009. But Aretha has had quite a long history, but I do hope something does become of this house sometime soon. I mean, it looks fine right now, but if they leave it sitting a little bit longer, I mean, it's going to collapse, and one by one. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Memphis, Tennessee, right in front of the birthplace of Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. Sign off.